magistrate reached a verdict. I have guilty or innocent. Spare me this mockery of justice.
Yeah, no, they like some moments of brain over brawn, and like later on, I think that's kind of lost.
It is true. It is too, and also like I feel like his like a lot of his hilarity is like more slapsticked, like into these one-off moments instead of like, because that really was his entire personality in the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what carried it. Anyway, I love that bajillion times gravity shit. It's hilarious.
You know who is also engages in slapstick comedy and
there's the
has
segue.
an excellent sense of humor is one Peter Parker,
the Amazing Spider-Man himself.
Mm-hmm. And even, well, not when written by J. Michael Straczynski.
Okay, we got to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is the beef with this Straczynski guy? You just because I have a lot of books from his set, and I don't know if but there's a hard part here between the two of us too, because I am a John Romita Jr. fan to the core. I think he's got a great hand. I think he's got great panel layout. I think he's got great structure, and I am in awe of his building, and you super dislike it. So that's a tough pill to swallow if the writer's meh, and you also hate the artist with a passion. But
well, I don't know if that's fair based on a lot of the conversations we've had about John Romita over the course of this podcast. Like
it's true. You've got some come around books where you were like, yeah, this is just good.
Yeah, like Superman Year One with Frank the Tank. Like I thought he pulled out all the stops on that and produced some really good work. And I think the blockiness of John Romita Jr. is really appropriate to that character. I've never so John Romita, if I remember correctly, like, because I've read a lot of, I was kind of cataloging in my brain how much Spider-Man I've read, and like, I've read a good chunk of the Roger Stern Spider-Man, where John Romita first did his run, prior to his blocky phase. We read the Howard Mackie shit. We read all the David Michelin stuff with.
I think you've read a lot more Spider-Man than anyone else on our podcast.
In our little group. Really. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's so I like Spider-Man a lot. That that's neither here nor there. I guess the reason I said all that is because John Romita used to do Spider-Man, back in the day, and I thought he was perfect for it. But this blocky style, it doesn't do Spider-Man very well for me. He becomes sort of blocky and cartoony, and but my primary issue is not John Romita Jr. It really is J. Michael Straczynski, and it really is the scenarios that he sort of establishes in these. So what books are these? This is what are these? What are these books? What are we even reading here?
This is the Life and Death of Spiders. It's the Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if we got numbers. I got number 46
through 50. I think
through 50. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. And yeah, it's and this is good because I think this is really emblematic of why I don't care for J. Michael Straczynski's run in general, which he wrote from 2001 to 2007.
And I don't know what happened during that period, but I was enamored with this run, and I didn't find it bad this time either.
Yeah. So let's get into it then. I guess because it's like a subjective thing. Like it's neither right nor wrong. It's it's a comic book. Who fucking cares? But so so talk to me about it. Tell me of your love. Tell me why you.
Well, okay. Like I think the way that he's doing the sort of like the figurative spider villain, the wasp thing, and I like the introduction of Doctor Strange. I know you feel it. What did you describe that as? Like a hack, like a poor man's.
I do pull out the poor man.
Like a poor man's Swamp Thing or something.
Oh yeah. The whole. Well, actually, we'll get into that a little bit. Yeah. But But yeah, actually, I'll agree with you. The Doc Strange thing is pretty cool, and actually, there's a little Easter egg in there. There's two great things about it. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are both Steve Ditko creations, and so it's always nice. There's something about the two when they match up and interact with each other. There's something classic about it as a consequence. You even see it in the movies. And I think Romita does a really good job of doing those Ditko fucked up backgrounds, like the astral plane and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's not bad stuff. Yeah.
I also like the bad guy. I like that the bad guy 180'd from a gross ghost monster into attacking him on media. Attacked Peter Parker's personal life and his relationship with Mary Jane. That's slick. Like, do you ever see that? That's not often. Okay, probably you do see it pretty often. But I like how it was done here. It was done in like almost like a social media, like traveling for work sort of way. Like he was fucking helpless, and he was mad, you know.
And I think, but all of these things for you're like, these are great. And I'm like, I don't care for that. Like, I guess maybe, so let's talk about like the fundamental, like the basic idea is low rent Swamp Thing, origin to Spider-Man. All of a sudden he's connected in the same way that, maybe you've never read, the introduction to, like the first couple issues of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run. But basically, prior to Alan Moore's run, it was understood that Swamp Thing was a man who turned into a Swamp Thing. And one of the clever little reversals that, and this makes it sound stupid, but Alan Moore's reversal was like, actually, he's a Swamp Thing who thinks he's a man. And he's actually like an elemental force. And what this book tries to do is to turn Spider-Man into or connect him to some sort of mystical elemental force a la Swamp Thing. And it doesn't hit well with me. I don't see the point of that. Spider-Man's, why can't you just have him fight the Rhino? Is it really that hard? Like, why does it need to be like this, J. Michael Straczynski?
Is it, you mean like almost like trying to make Spider-Man like just have it like be a bigger thing than it is, have it be like some spiritual like force connection where he's like some kind of like spider god or something?
Yeah, it smacks of Neil Gaiman. Like, it even goes into like all of a sudden he's connected to Africa and Anansi, the spider god or whatever, is the first Spider-Man, and somehow was imbued the radioactive spider with the stuff that bit Spider-Man, and you're just like, I don't need that, man. Like, the beauty of the Spider-Man story is that he got bit by a radioactive spider, and he swings around and he makes jokes, and he's funny and courageous, and he gets into like shitty situations, and he's just trying to do the right thing.
I can tell you that I don't care for Easy Kill, and I don't think that he brings anything to the table for the Peter Parker character or me. I definitely don't feel the stakes are raised. I don't feel that they have any similarities. I don't feel like he's necessary to the story. He's just sort of there. Like if something like if a fucking xenomorph came and speared him through the heart and ripped him in half, I'd be like, oh fuck, I wouldn't care, because he's unnecessary.
Well, he's kind of a Dumbledore, or he's kind of a, is it Sir, not Dumbledore, he's kind of like a Yoda, right? He's meant to initiate Spider-Man into this new mystical universe.
Yeah, I guess, but I like Yoda. This is just like a fucking old guy that has back alley spider powers for reasons unknown. Like you say, it's difficult to connect to the radioactive spider bite to this type of a universe building, I guess, and this is I guess that is sort of a cheap thing that I'm sort of like more, when I'm going through this story, I'm more reading it on the surface, like seeing the strife between him and Mary Jane, and the like the silent panels where Romita's got him like frustrated and trying to get back into the apartment and nobody's there, and she's coming back into his apartment and nobody's there, and just they're both combined like defeat and frustration. Very cool pages for me. Very emotional. Nice. Provokes the feelings, and then you get to have Mary Jane and Peter come back together, but basically like have like this. You didn't like the hack and slash issue at the end? That was this bizarro world of Doctor Doom going through fucking customs. That was annoying for you.
Well, it's another situation where I'm like, why is this happening? This doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no causal relationship. There's no thematic relationship. There's no connection I can make between the scenario that Spider-Man has found himself in, which is like at the airport trying to save Doctor Doom. Like, why does Captain America show up? What the fuck?
Captain America was already there, actually, posing as a security guard.
Yeah. Why? You didn't. It wasn't required.
It's almost like now that you're giving it like a hard breakdown here, you're making me feel like Straczynski's like he's trying to be funny here. We're trying to be funny. We're trying to be clever. We're trying to get big mishmash of Marvel characters and have like a fun time, like a wacky Spider-Man book where he's trying not to break up with Mary Jane, but there's also like a fight going on with a terrorist, right? It'd be funny if Dr. Doom in Latveria, but he just doesn't pull it off. So it ends up not being funny. It ends up being like fucking like a shitty What If or like a Bizarro world.
Well, and the jokes, the only jokes that I saw that resembled attempts at being funny were like the fourth wall breaking of the people who are escorting Dr. Doom. All of a sudden, like they're making these in-jokes to the audience, and you're like, that's Dr. Doom. Like this should be like a big deal. This should be a thing. Like, why wasn't he just escorting Kingpin? Or it could have been anything, and it, like, you don't fuck around with Dr. Doom. Like, it's not extra funny because it's him. Maybe, I don't know, Spider-Man has any number of New York has any number of characters who could have filled that role. And then the conversation with Mary Jane's going on in the background, and Mary Jane, to my reading, is pathetic, and both of them are pathetic. They're just, did they never have a conversation in their entire relationship? Like, actually, I need you. I didn't know that I needed you. Oh, I need you too. Oh, you like.
Yeah, and they're having like a codependent half breakup. Like, they actually probably should break up because their relationship seems toxic. Really. yeah, it's all fucked up. Yeah. Right. Hard to refute these details.
Yeah, but I don't think the toxic relationship is actually Straczynski's fault through himself. He inherited that mess, if I recall correctly. Like it had been going on for a long time, like going back as far as like Maximum Carnage. When suddenly Mary Jane started smoking and resenting Spider-Man, you're like, oh, this is a fun comic. Great idea, guys.
Yeah. Well, then, because where are you going to go with Peter here, and Mary Jane? They can't be, like, fucking teenage lovers forever. I like a fucking beat-up Peter with a 5 o'clock shadow that has fucking career problems and a wife that's leaving him. That's great.
Yeah, I like the part except for the wife that's leaving him. But then again, I was, just the other day, I picked up, because it's cheap. I'm just picking up all these cheap comics because of like Black Friday sales on Comixology. And
nice.
And I got some Todd McFarlane Spider-Man stuff, and his Mary Jane is like so sexualized, so hot. She's always in lingerie, and he takes all these angles on her ass and stuff like that, and like, and same with Eric Larson. Like they really they sexed her up real good. And then you're kind of like, but I think the trick of the book at that point is not to sour that relationship, but to somehow create complications around it, where she's still as strong as him and they love each other and stuff. Like, if you're going to go that route, just go that route. Because once you break the relationship, there's really no fixing it. And it's you'd never do that with Superman and Lois Lane.
No, you just have to reboot it.
Well, yeah, and they tried that too. That's a Straczynski thing too, with Mephisto making the world forget and all that stuff. And you're just like, I don't know.
And the world wouldn't have to forget if you wrote it right.
If you didn't reveal his identity to everyone all the time and almost kill Aunt May, and you're just like, what are you doing? You're just making a mess. And then when you try to clean it up, it's like you're smearing the mess all over the wall, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Speaking of the sexualized Mary Jane, what's his name? J. Scott Campbell, who cut in for some covers for these guys. This time, does a very cool Spider-Man, and also is responsible for some epic Mary Jane covers.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I guess it's issue 50 when
if you're that kind of person. Yeah.
Well, I think if you read comics, if you read superhero comics, you are that type of person.
Yeah.
You know,
if you're 40, 50, 60, whatever, and you live through the Image era, then I mean, you've got your J. Scott Campbell covers somewhere.
Yeah, you're like,
somewhere.
Finally.
Maybe who's that other guy? Who's the Witchblade artist?
Oh, our boy, what's that dude's name? It's Fathom. I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Everybody knows. You got some Witchblades out there, people. They're in your box. Fucking shameless bastards.
So
anyway.
Okay, so I've got. Let's say something nice. I'll go over back to Romita, and I want to agree with you that like his storytelling is very good, and his backgrounds are excellent. I'm never really gonna much care for his faces. Like he just they just turn all angular and weird, and like they look like bobblehead people, and
it's kind of true.
I just can't get into it. But
who would be responsible for like in this era? Because I feel like you know a lot about technical things as well. But who would be responsible for panel layout in a book like this in this time for Marvel?
Oh, it's Romita. Yeah, like it's because I don't think they're working with I don't know, but I don't think they're working with script because it's the Marvel method theoretically. I haven't read any interviews with JMS, so I don't know. But my understanding is that Romita decides what the page looks like, and then JMS adds the words afterwards. He gets like a story, like a basic. Here's what I need to happen in this issue. Romita draws it. JMS comes in and puts the words in.
Because he's got very classic panel style, like the almost 80s style, and it's good work. And honestly, Straczynski for whatever job he did, kind of hacking his way through, he does let John Romita work. You don't need him. You don't need to write for every panel for an artist like that.
Yeah, actually, he kind of. I'm hesitant to say this, but he kind of strikes a balance between. It's not striking a balance. Like I'm looking at a 9-page grid where Ezekiel's just fucking talking.
Okay, popping off. I stopped myself part of that. I was like, come on. The fuck?
But still, there's no narration that goes inside of Ezekiel and is like, and he turned a corner, like everything's left to.
True. It is a monologue more.
Yeah. And then you turn the page and actually it's a quiet page after that. And then, Peter Parker has a little joke or whatever. Like it's, so if he's going to make it dense, he's also going to make it light afterwards. There's a good, they're not working bad together. I think this is, I don't know what to say. It feels kind of like a good product, but I just what's the analogy I'm looking for? It's like they made a new type of pop, and I don't like the flavor. It's grape pop or something. I'm just like, I don't, this is
fucking fun. Clear Pepsi.
yeah. They made, yeah. And I'm just like, this isn't, I'm going to let this one go by, and like,
this isn't gonna last. Not for me.
But they do work fairly well together. And yeah, it's Peter Parker looks like shit. He's all swollen.
Peter Parker's like burned out in this.
Yeah.
He's been beaten through the streets.
Yeah. There we go.
Maybe we should have done. I'm thinking back now, and I'm thinking maybe we should have done Peter Parker versus Kingpin, or would that have just made you madder?
Oh shit! When he like shoots Aunt May and stuff.
Yeah, like Back in Black.
I don't want to read Ron Garney comics unless it's Superman, any. Actually, fuck, I can't. Except for the Captain America books, maybe. I like Ron Garney doesn't do it for me either. Even though like I recognize he has chops, but he just kind of.
I thought this was the same. I thought it was the same team.
My recollection is
Straczynski, Romita, or maybe it was a mixed.
I feel that later on Ron Garney comes in because Romita fucks off somewhere or something like that. Like I'm willing to be corrected, but that's my recollection. That's a different experience because it's I just feel those like he just makes the stories darker and darker and darker, and no wonder he had the literal devil come in to erase everybody's memory in exchange for a soul or something like that. You're like, go write Thor, you prick. And sure enough, like he, and I his Thor run, which I've never read, but like I gotta say it intrigues me because I think he's much better suited to that like again low rent Alan Moore, low rent Neil Gaiman treatment of the character. I think he's probably much better at that.
I'm having a flashback too of a previous conversation we might have had where we talked about how like Spider-Man can only be darkened just so,
Mm-hmm.
like it like once like you can't cross the murder threshold. It just sort of sullies the character.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be a clown, like he's a clown character. Like Kurt Busiek, I think now that I'm thinking about it, actually captured that very well with Steel Toad or Jumping Jack or whatever the fuck that guy's name was in Astro City, like their Spider-Man analog.
Yeah,
he's literally a clown. Yeah, and like he's like Spider-Man's costume is cool, but it's bright and he's bounding and he's light. And if Spider-Man isn't light and bright, then I don't know. I just think you're not doing Spider-Man properly. I think actually, and I want to.
You're a Spider-Man 3 fan. That's what you're saying.
I've never seen Spider-Man 3. Like the Sam Raimi one?
Tobey Maguire? Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I don't know if you ever assigned really it bad. One day. I'm
really bad. You know what? Since we're just having a Spider-Man talk, things are flowing loose. Yeah. I think there was a conversation a little while ago about, the return of Novito.
Oh yes, yeah, there is. If you ever wanted to pull that out as Novito,
I'm pulling it out right now.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, yeah. I don't have a rejoinder on that.
No, I would really take your time on the backhand for that because that's gonna hurt. That's what's gonna hurt. That's not a nice one. It's not a nice one.
That's fun. I could
go lower. I could go lower, but that's it's definitely a backhand.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll just write that down. A little special. Oh man, what's gonna go with Spider-Man 3?
I don't know. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make no choice. The
popcorn and a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. What I wanted to. So I got two more complaints. About how like this spider lady Shathra, right? She's spider. Okay, so she's she's a female Venom. She comes out. She knows who Peter Parker's secret identity is. She starts fucking with him, and then uses all of her like tentacles and shit. And she's like, she's just Venom, but she can fly. And then she goes on TV and she smears Spider-Man, but like that's J. Jonah Jameson. Like Spider-Man, since he was a teenager, has been a menace to society. He's not a hero. He's someone that the media fears and hates and villainizes, and still goes out there and then makes jokes. And I just like this whole project is so ill considered. in light of like where Spider-Man comes from and what he is, and there's so many missteps. It's like he's just constantly tripping over his own feet throughout the entire project, and I'm just shaking my head like train wreck after train wreck.
Pointing that out hurts. That's not, there's no coming back from that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really process it that way.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I don't know. That is whether or not that's like one of my gifts for enjoying all things entertaining, is that I'm able to like surface skim it without any memory or recollection of anything else.
But but the problem is like you said, like I've surprisingly read a lot of Spider-Man, and I can't actually say that I like Spider-Man, and it's just weird. I just always feel like in the same way, like I'll dip into some old Green Lanterns, just to see what the fuck was going on at various eras. Something about Spider-Man kind of appeals. I like the simplicity of it. And I think also what Rev had said about Spider-Man being like, there's something, it's not anti-fascist, but it's definitely not aggressive, and it's difficult to make the argument of a superhero being like some sort of fascist archetype when you're dealing with Spider-Man, and that there's something refreshing about that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Although actually no, there's no although to that. Who's your favorite Spider-Man villain? Have we ever talked about this?
No, I don't think so. And I don't like Spider-Man villains overall.
Mm-hmm.
I find them all very stupid and shallow.
Right.
Kind of like, but that's the Stan Lee thing too. Like, the glory, the God himself, the master of the Marvel universe and all comics history, blah blah blah. But like, he's no fucking genius. These aren't good ideas.
No, they're goofy ideas, and most of them aren't even his.
That's the whole other thing, Any good things that are like sprinkled in there, like salt, are not his. There are buddy Jack Kirby and everybody else that got sewered along the way, right?
Oh, Mr. Ditko. Well, yeah, like that said, I mean, some of the writing's not so bad, like the text and stuff, but I mean, like.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm being overly critical, but I'm okay.
No, really, rightly so. Like I'm not.
I do like Dr. Octopus.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that it's cool.
Yeah.
To invent robo-mechanical parts and then go fucking insane.
And just be like this fat guy with big glasses, and he's just
an absolute fucking maniac, crazy maniac. Yeah, I like that. Everybody else is kind of small-timey, but that's cool too. I like a little bit more down to earth. I like desperation. I like bank robberies. I like a guy that gets beat up and has to go home and fucking sleep at Aunt May's house. I like all that. I like it. I like the ground level stuff of it. Mm-hmm. An apartment or scrounging for your paycheck, or that's the everyman. That's the Spider-Man love right there.
Yeah, one thing that JMS, I'll certainly give him credit for one thing. I think it was him that made Spider-Man a teacher, like a high school teacher.
Mm-hmm. I think he aged him. And maybe that was like the thing where I was like, okay, now we're moving on to like a different story, like because I think prior to this they had the Ultimate Spider-Man, which was like the reboot of teenage Spider-Man, which is the same fucking story, and I was like, this is total garbage. I do not want Spider-Man to just continue to be a fucking child. It's like doing Batman fucking year one again. Oh, let's kill Batman's fucking parents over again and just do Batman over again. He'll be like young Batman. It's just like boring. There's other places to go, and there at least that's a place.
You know what, man? Actually, no, that's a really good context to put this in, and something that had slipped my mind, because like. Fuck, you know what? I like Spider-Man. I think that's been established in this conversation. I've never read any of those Ultimate Spider-Man books. They can fuck right off. Like I don't need Brian Michael Bendis and fucking Mark Bagley. Thanks for the visual, like for the new and improved visual language that you might want to bring to your fucking comic. And because like
maybe you can catch Flash's fucking punch again. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Maybe you could maybe you could throw a basketball really hard at him and Jesus Christ, like.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point. Like, and I don't it certainly doesn't diffuse my criticism, but it kind of lessens the blow of it, I think. Like it makes the project make some more sense. Because if across the street in your own publishing house, they're already doing classic Spider-Man, such as whatever fucking Bendis could possibly achieve. Then I
like this. I like this hacking at Bendis too. Along
I don't know. I don't really like his Daredevil run's fucking dope. I think he's well suited to it, but I can't open those Spider-Man books. He doesn't know what teenagers are like. He's never been a teenager. Certainly never had a girlfriend. Whereas, JMS.
He's had a couple toxic relationships at least. He's been dumped a few times. I can sense it.
Yeah. Well, he's like a very different career too. Like JMS is like the guy also does movies. I think maybe around this time he's also doing Changeling. I don't know if you ever saw that movie with Angelina Jolie. That's fucked.
Oh Jesus, no! I didn't know he was responsible for that.
Yeah. Shit. What other movie? Well, he did Captain Power back in the day. Babylon 5, obviously.
That's messed up.
I never watched any.
That's some fucked
Babylon
up shit.
5.
That's the stuff my dad's into. You're going into the fringes of sci-fi.
Yeah, man, that show never appealed to me because the aliens looked all like fucking whack, and I was like, this just looks a little too like. I know Star Trek took itself real seriously, but like it had that high-mindedness, that utopianism that was always in the background, and it was kind of shiny like an Apple commercial. And Babylon 5 just like tried to be too much like hard sci-fi, and I was just like, I don't know, no thanks. Like hard sci-fi from the 60s or 50s.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like the shittiest budget. But still no one swore or anything. It was softcore.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was like, again, we've never watched any episodes, or I've never watched any episodes. So like maybe there's something there, but like, I don't think so.
Listen, if I want hard sci-fi, I'll talk to Ridley. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, you mean but on TV though, hard sci-fi on TV, you're not going to get like a better offer than JMS probably. Back in those days in the 90s.
Oh yeah, back in then. No, yeah, you're not. Yeah. You're not. That's as close as you're gonna get. Yeah. Or maybe Worf in the bar.
Yeah, Guinan's gonna give you some home truths.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe Data on a holodeck. Yeah.
Yeah. I also love Dr. Octopus. He's visually fucking cool, like all those tentacles everywhere and stuff. I love the way Eric Larson draws that. That Spider-Man Rain book has some fucking amazing Doc Ock bits. Actually, the depiction of Spider-Man generally in that book, even though it's like literally a Dark Knight Returns version of Spider-Man. Actually, so I know you haven't read it yet, but it's like a Dark Knight Returns, old man Spider-Man returns. He's broken up, he's all fucked up. Mary Jane's dead. The city's under control, but even that book manages to make Spider-Man like light and funny. You tell some like genuinely funny jokes, and all of the stuff that happens in the story kind of like makes sense for Spider-Man. So like darkness in and of itself is not the enemy of Spider-Man. It's just like, what attitude do you take to it, and how do you depict Spider-Man when he shows up? He should be like this sprite.
Well, and I think that that's going to be the gag that you might enjoy in the Spider-Man 3 movie,
right?
Is that Sam Raimi has a hand in making Spider-Man fucking goofy, even when he turns like sour from the black costume.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it's just so true to the real Spider-Man that I don't know. And I know Venom's an easy cop out to just be like, Venom's cool as fucking Spider-Man villain, because it's really cool. It's really cool. It is very visually appealing. I mean, give me that Eric Larson Venom. Give it to me all day.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. That's awesome.
I got a T-shirt with that. That's how. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the coolest shit right there. Holding the skull. Peter has to pretend to die to get away from that fucking animal. It's coming after him. It's so cool. But and that's got to be a close second. Carnage is just dumb. We're just trying to rehash the same thing.
I think we're missing. I like what has happened to Green Goblin and Norman Osborn later. Later, I like Norman Osborn as they developed him later. Actually, I guess that's a Brian Michael Bendis thing. But something Green Goblin is not visually compelling to me. He's not I get that he's the color coded opposite of Spider-Man and he's kind of like Spider-Man's Joker, but I don't know. I've never really loved that character and that interaction. I'd rather watch him fight Sandman or the Rhino, which Sandman's cool. That's my opinion anyway. I like a guy who can turn into sand and float, creep through tracks and shit like that. Hit you with a sledgehammer, like a cartoon villain. That's cool.
Yeah, Sandman's cool.
Okay.
And it, it's funny too in those early Spider-Man movies, a lot of these characters were given done justice. I think I don't know if Sandman's is Sandman in the Tobey Maguire ones? I think he is.
I want to say that he is,
and he's
but honestly, it's been a while.
Cheers or Lowell.
Holy. Lowell, no, that guy's from Wings, not from Cheers.
Yeah, Wings. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, and he does a great. His role is great, and in the movie.
I didn't know how invested in Wings I was until just now.
Yeah, nice touch. Yeah, nice comeback for me. Yeah, you really brought me out of the obscurity of weird 70s shows. But anyway, and Alfred Molina on Doc Ock. Really, those movies were made by the villains. The Green Goblin, obviously, fucking iconic in the original movies.
Yeah, that's Willem Dafoe, right?
Yeah, that's Willem Dafoe coming hot. Yeah, that was amazing. He basically made the Green Goblin cool again.
Or for the first time, perhaps.
Or ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was fucking terrifying. I was terrified. I was terrified he's gonna kill his family.
Yeah.
He's a fucking psychopath. When you recall that when he goes to dinner with him?
Oh no, I don't. That's a nice touch.
He shows up for dinner at Peter's house.
And at that point he knows that
he was tainted. He knows Peter's Spider-Man, and he's also gone fucking batshit crazy.
Right. Does Peter know that he knows?
Yeah.
That's classic.
It's good shit.
Yeah. I don't know how much. Okay, fine. That's good. One thing I think I don't like about the Green. Having said that, I agree with you. I remember that movie. It's good, and I think that you can get drama out of that story. But I kind of don't like that when Green Goblin knows Peter Parker's identity. I don't like when anybody knows Peter Parker's identity, because that's when that invites the darkness that the book will crash against. Because once people know that they can start terrorizing Aunt May, then it's just a matter of time before someone kills Aunt May, and the marriage breaks down, and the tension and the stress of Spider-Man invading the domestic realm.
And again, that's just that feels a cheap out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a cheap way to Dark Knight Returns the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, or just I think with Green Goblin.
I think they did a good job in that movie because they just killed the Green Goblin.
Yes,
easy peasy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
safe.
yeah, because Norman supposedly died in the comics. He knew Peter Parker's identity, but then he died. And that's what you have to do. You have to close that door. So you create the menace, and you create that rivalry that activated the fanboys, and they were like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" And then Norman dies, but because it's fandom, we got to bring Norman back, man. Let's get that hit again. But once you get that hit, fuck, it's train spotting. You're going to find a dead baby eventually.
Jesus.
Yeah. And that's that's what happens. And then you got to bring in the devil to clean up the dead baby problem. Yeah. So
that makes a lot of sense.
What else is on the one of the things about Spider-Man that's cool in the same way that Batman's cool is that they have that rogues gallery, right? Like, say whether you like Spider-Man's villains or not, like it's kind of cool that he's got a stable of villains. Like, he does have recognizable Spider-Man villains. And that's important.
Yeah. And you can pluck them, you can reinvent them, you can redo an origin story, you can build weird empathy for them and make it awkward. They did that with the Sandman in the movie. In the movies, they introduced his daughter. And it was fucking heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah. That shows up in Spider-Man Reign. I was wondering why. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. So then you've got Peter fucking fighting, basically trying to kill this fucking like elemental type bad guy, and the guy's just, all you want to do is see him get reunited with his kid.
Right.
Spider-Man flushes his ass down into the sewers or whatever.
That's what you got to do. Yeah, and that should be like part of the Spider-Man story is like, like he's trying to do good, but at the same time he's maybe doing a little bit of bad until he kind of figures it all out. Because I'm going to guess that eventually he figures out that Sandman's not necessarily a villain. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm just sort of guessing.
Yeah, I
can't remembering.
Remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember how they enabled all that.
Yeah.
That's why a good clean Psycho's great too. Like Doc Ock.
Or like Carnage, Venom, like those guys are.
I am semi interested to see that movie too. I want to see Woody Harrelson do his Carnage.
Venom 2. You want to see him bring out his Cletus? See what that's about?
I want to see what Woody's gonna give me.
I got it. Yeah, I guess maybe I am a little curious about that myself. I'm assuming that movie is out now. Or
yeah, it is. I did. I found a pretty funny Tom Hardy interview talking about Venom, and he was like, "Oh man, like we basically like." They were asking him about like how he felt, and he said, "Well, no part of the movie had anything to do with me. Like, this is not my direction for the character or any of my ideas." He's like, and we got raked over the coals by critics. But he said basically like there's a cross section of fans that loved it so much that basically like we've got enough like fanfare to continue the franchise, and that's sort of what happened.
It's taken.
Yeah, and he's just having I guess he's just kind of having a ball with it. Because the fans are into his Eddie Brock's depiction or whatever. So
that's I don't know. That's interesting. If it wasn't a no veto, I'd say Spider-Man 3 and Venom 2. I just to continue the conversation, see what see what squeezes, because I'm kind of like late period franchise movies are kind of more interesting to me, especially with superhero movies, than the first movie. Because I don't need to see the origin again, right? Like you already said that. We don't need to see all that, but like
I need to see what you're going to try to drag out of a franchise here.
Yeah. Like what are you doing by the third or second movie when you think it's going to go well and you think you've like captured the zeitgeist or some shit?
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 ended the franchise.
Yeah, and I remember that much. Like, and I've seen some clips from that, and I don't know. I guess I just kind of.
Oh, it's gonna suck shit. It's got Topher Grace and the bad guys are Topher Grace and James Franco.
Oh wow! Holy fuck! Speaking of ill-considered projects, what the fuck? Who does Topher Grace play?
Eddie Brock.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me. So fuck. Eddie Brock's supposed to be like a muscle dude. Like he's supposed to be
wrap your mind around it, bro.
Yeah. What about the other guy? What about
Osborne's son?
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay, that actually makes sense. That makes sense. Like, was he in the earlier movies or?
Yeah, I believe he
Oh,
was. He was
okay.
Peter's friend through all the movies.
Okay, yeah, and that guy.
And he was like a ticking time bomb, right?
Yeah. Franco can pull off a crazy fucking guy. That's fine. That's probably a good choice. But yeah, man, Topher. He had a weird career. That I don't know if it's still happening.
I don't think so, really. I mean, yeah, probably, but like not on any kind of level that anyone wants to get fired up about a Topher Grace movie or anything.
That's so just to make sure I'm not making a fool of myself. Is that the 70s Show guy? Like that's the
yeah.
Okay.
Eric. His dumbass,
Yeah, he even showed up in that Soderbergh film, like Traffic. I don't remember. Maybe Traffic's a fucking like a downer movie to bring up, but he was he had a role even in that. Like there was just like he was just having roles at that time.
Well, yeah, he came off that 70s Show, which was like he had to be like probably like one of the top grossing TV stars in the world at that time. That show was fucking hot.
Mm-hmm.
It was Seinfeld or Big Bang Theory ish. I'm sure Jerry Seinfeld wouldn't like to hear that,
It's more of a Big Bang Theory ish, I would say, but I think it was a superior product.
I'm thinking in terms of like basically like pay scale and like exposure more than quality of fair. Show.
Yeah, it launched a ton of careers. In the way that like it's more of a Friends than.
Yeah, it's true, but you only got one Jennifer Aniston out of it.
At the end they all fell down, didn't they? Except for Phoebe.
Oh,
Phoebe shows up
okay,
in shit.
and so does obviously David Schwimmer is a fucking still mastermind out there. He's still doing those fucking animal movies that I like.
Oh, I don't know anything about this. We do not.
Madagascar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck, give me.
What do you mean he's doing the voices?
Yeah, he's one of the voices of the giraffe, but he's a franchise player, man.
Okay, yeah, he found a niche for himself for sure.
Yeah,
I remember he showed up on West Wing.
Cocaine or anything like that,
Yeah, he just kept it on the straight and narrow, or he was a functional cokehead. I'm gonna go with functional cokehead.
I like that.
Yeah.
Stark accusation for
unlike
Ross.
Topher Grace, fucking nosebleeds all the time.
Topher Grace is not coming back.
Yeah.
He's also not funny or charming or anything.
Well, that's it. He just does that like fucking really shitty kind of Woody Allen thing where he just like acts all nervous and
he would have been a better fucking Peter Parker really than.
Yeah, he could have been something like a Peter Parker. Yeah, he's just definitely not fucking Eddie Brock. That's dumb. Tom Hardy's not an Eddie Brock either, but he's closer. So a
lot closer. Like if you're gonna give me like some kind of a New Yorkish bully, I mean, we're on a better path.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So yeah, Spider-Man. I don't know. These JMS books are not for me. I guess I kind of understand the context they're coming out of, but I mean, really don't like them, and I think I've made an effort, so I'm just gonna say that I earned my opinion.
Real talk, not good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna put it out there and say I think they are good Spider-Man fare, but the best, no.
Yeah.
No. So.
Yeah. It's kind of you get different mileage on it. It's a weird one where I don't think. Whereas normally, like when we're doing ratings or something like that, I feel like we're speaking the same language. And my 7 somehow makes sense in relation to your 7 and so on and so forth. But like, I don't think we can.
This is funny because it's more of like I'll acknowledge that it's sort of a workman run. These guys are doing the old Snyder Capullo Batman.
Oh, that's a good way of thinking about it.
You're not gonna get real fucking. You're not gonna like. This isn't the Bat Dick we're talking about. This isn't a number one stunner. This isn't year one. But it's a good workman run, cohesive art and writing. If you like a long run with the same team sort of deal, I think is probably a good way to look at it. But I don't know.
No, there is a trajectory to it. And actually, you know what? Hearing you talk, like it isn't that you're persuading me that I like the run, because like nothing.
No, I'm not.
Nothing.
Yeah, not gonna sell you that way. Sort of explain the standpoint for me.
Yeah. No,
enjoying the run.
Yeah, it makes me think though. Like, you know who else is writing at the same time is like Howard fucking Mackey, and that guy's a hack supreme. Like, he makes Scott Lobdell look like a fucking genius. Like it was a real desert at that time, and like I don't like the project that JMS has set for himself in this story. I think I'm starting to understand like why he set out on this project, but at least it's a project, and at least it's something, whereas everything else at that time was just so fucking generic and really disappointing and had terrible art. So fuck, like if you want to read some Spider-Man that from this era that doesn't suck, like this is the only game in town. So
no, I would call that a win.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, that's it. Yep.
Now all we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.